Hey, it's your boy Sergeant Hooked on Henshins. I do want to apologize for this video and any of the other videos I record this week. Kind of getting over a bit of a congestion head cold, so if I sound goofy, if I cough a lot and sniffle and all that, I'm very sorry. um, but today is our episode 33 review of Kikai Sentai Zenkaiger. This is the Academy World episode. So, this episode is really entertaining. I mentioned something in my boy, shout out to Hawkalees. Follow him on Twitch, follow him on Twitter, TikTok. He's an awesome dude. YouTube, great Toku content creator. Just had a baby. Awesome dude. So proud of him. But anyway, I mentioned in a group chat yesterday, we were on his stream watching Zenkaiger, his Toku Tuesday nights, which if you don't know, he does this thing called Toku Tuesday nights where he puts out the most recent episodes of both Rider and Sentai that are running and puts them on stream for everybody to watch. Subtitled, of course. So he mentioned, I mentioned that Zenkaiger kind of has this effect where, like, every episode, I'm like, this is my favorite one. God, I love this episode so much. This is the best it has. And then the next episode comes on, and then I think it all over again. Which I think is honestly a good thing, because, like, I've been very, very, very extremely, extravagantly entertained by every single episode of this show. Honestly, I know that I give it praise a lot, and I don't talk a lot about things that are, like, not my favorite, but there's not a lot of things I dislike. Sure, there's like a little bit of slower pacing here and there, and sure, I do wish that they would do more with things like Stacy and things of that nature. But as far as Stacy, like I said, Stacy was never supposed to be a part of it from the beginning. And there's a funny thing relating to Zemryoku Zenkaio that I'll mention later. Anyway, so this episode, they're doing their thing, the Zenkaigers, broing out like they do. And they've seen the Academy World monster. Of course, everyone's like, oh, I bet you that's a world monster. Like, they're getting tired of it, kind of, which is kind of funny. I like how it pokes at itself a little bit, and we'll get to more of that later in the episode. So he puts out this wave, and it turns everything into this Academy World, this Tojiteno Academy. And so at first, our Zenkaigers are all dressed as students, and they find out that all the like Tojiteno like Kudaks and like Kudak general guys are like teachers basically with little Tojiteno purple ties, and that people have to basically learn how to become a Kudak and or be destroyed basically, and so Kaiser is also there, and he gets thrown into it. And he's like, "What? Why did I get thrown into this? I was trying to protect you, Academy World. What's wrong?" He's kind of upset about it. Clearly, it's got to be Kaido's dad at this point. It's got to be him under the suit or whatever. Anyway, and so we get this really really funny scene where Stacy is in like a full teacher regalia. He's got like a button up shirt on, glasses, a little like sweater tied around him, the whole thing, the whole setup, the drip, the teacher, the academic drip on this boy, girl, whatever, person. And he does this quiz thing. They take this Coach Nintendo quiz. They have to get each question right. They can't miss a single one. So they start off, and of course, nearly everybody except for Vroon and Flint get the question right, get the question wrong. So they all get blown up, basically. It's a big, like, Acme fucking explosion, like Looney Tunes explosion. It's so silly. I love this show. And then they ask a question about some number of times of something happening that's 17. And then right after, Flint gets it wrong. And then Vroon is asked to tell the difference between these two pictures, and it's Trash World and Recycle World, which were the same monster, just one was dirtier, basically. And he says, A, and like the one side is it, and then Stacy takes the picture and looks at it and is like, and takes his glasses off. B. Just like conveniently, I feel like changing the answer just so Vroom gets it wrong. Also, all of them in their school uniforms are literally their like be their helmet, like the costume helmet, their hands, and like their feet, and that's pretty much it. And then the rest of them looks like a normal person. They look so skinny and goofy in these costumes. I love it. Especially Vroon. Vroon has like freaking his giant like blue shin guard leg sticking out of the bottom. But anyway, he gets it wrong and gets blown up as well. And they're not sure what to do. They're like, we're trying to stick with what the Academy World Monster wants, but we can't really get it to work out. Like, well, if you can't get the questions wrong, then Yachan's like, why don't you lure Academy World out to try and get his attention, like get him out in the open. And so they all dress up as basically delinquents, like bad kids, bullies, if you will. Kaito has like a goofy mohawk, kind of looks like Forze, honestly, like Gentaro, and Majin has hair. Juron has a goofy hair thing going on. Everybody gets their own details, even down to Zox being like shirtless. That like poncho thing where you got the jacket on, like the wraps around your belly, around your stomach, and then you're like shirtless. He has that going. Even Flint looks goofy. And the SD Bot Bros, they have little jackets on, and little chains and glasses, as if to signify that they're apparently they're bad. I love the show. And so they're the delinquents, and Yachan's also in a school uniform, and I think Seichan has like a goofy little like leather hat thing. It's everybody gets a costume in this, and I just love it. I really have to give props to the prop and like costume department for the show, because literally every single episode has something new or different that the characters are wearing. Every one of them, pretty much, or at least it feels that way. And so they essentially like have this like pseudo quasi emotional moment with Academy World, that they're gonna like reform their ways, and they just want someone to understand them. Basically, if I was gauging it right, it was kind of hard to keeping up with it with being in the chat watching it, but they trick him. He lets his guard down, his powers dissipate, and they're able to finally fight him. So they all transform. And we get, of course, another roll call. This is like the 34th, 33rd roll call, different, unique roll call we've gotten. And it's all of them, being their goofy delinquent selves, their bully selves, their bad kid selves. Kaito says, "Buck Wild Sentai Zenkaiger." And behind, like, they pose, and then behind them is the after image of, like, all of them, like, unmorphed. And, like, he's all, with his hair looking all goofy. Zox does the same thing. Is punk power instead of pirate power. It's stupid. And so they destroy the monster, the world monster, with the Zenkaiger, the Zenryoku Zenkai Cannon Finale Buster. Be banished to the oceans of Toei, the Toei oceans, Toei Sea. And a kunai test comes out, and they're like, "Wait, why would you not? Why didn't they send a new kunai test out?" And Ichiro says, "Unfortunately, because of budget concerns, we cannot mass produce a new kunai test," which is clearly, as I was mentioning before, is clearly a reference to the fact that Zenryoku Zenkaio is all CG and they can't do it every single episode. I love it so much. They're just so creative. I love this show. It's going to be a sad world when the show's over. We're going to talk about some things if it's really over, once it's over. But anyway, so we get Zenkaijuo, with Zox and Kaito coming together and all that. And then while they're doing it, they're having like a conversation. They do this a lot in the show, but they're like, as they're combining, he's like, "Hey, Kaito, what was your favorite subject in school?" "Oh, it was such and such." "Oh, that makes sense, blah, blah, blah." And they're just talking, just shooting the shit as they're transforming together. So the kunai test, of course, steps on the gear and becomes, Academy World kunai test, basically a giant version. And tries to give him a test, to screw him over again. It's a bunch of math stuff, and it's Zenkaijuo trying to like emote about it, so it's like like angry about it, and them talking clearly. And then Majin uses her magic, because there's Vru Majin, Zenkaio Vru Majin is there as well, and changes the quiz to being what is this animal? It's just clearly a picture of a dog, and they're like, "Dog," and they get it right. So they destroy the monster, and he says something about stay in school, kids, and don't end up like me. Like, every single freaking world monster that we've had has to have some goofy last minute thing they say before they die. It's so silly, but I just love it. It adds so much more flair and like originality to the show, honestly, and sets it so far apart from other Sentai. I think that's what I really enjoy about Zenkaiger. Before I get there, definitely a 10 out of 10. I loved this episode. It was super entertaining. We got pretty much everybody there involved with the show, character-wise. I really enjoyed the episode. Again, sorry about this. Anyway, so, definitely an amazing episode. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you guys liked it, if you hated it, if you thought it was all right, however you feel. Next week's episode is a Halloween episode, of course, and also, which is nice, we don't get a ton of Halloween Toku episodes, but we do get them sometimes, and it looks good. But there's one specific scene in it that shows, because they're all talking about, like, oh, what's going to happen? Oh, these spooky things happen at Halloween. Oh, what could be even spookier? And then Hakaiser's like, what about revealing my identity? And so it shows Hakaiser from behind with his helmet off and a human head, which kind of gave me Nada being, spoilers for Rio Soldier, Nada being revealed as Geiserwerg vibes. But clearly we're going to see what's under the suit of Hakaiser, that it's not just a robot, and that he literally took Kaito's dad and like made him into Hakaiser, which hopefully gives me hope that he'll be reformed at some point, and then they'll do like a repaint on Hakaiser and have him be able to transform into that form to join the team, basically. But there's been some grains of salt rumors and speculation right now about what the next Sentai is supposed to be. Some's calling it Bakutaro Sentai. Nobody really knows the full name just yet, nor have we gotten any scans or anything. It's usually just the trademark thing is what we're waiting for, to see what the name trademarked is. So apparently there's rumors that apparently, a really odd change of pace from what we've gotten, but a welcome one in my opinion. Kaito and Jiran are supposed to be in the next Sentai as like supporting characters, and that the red for that team, for the next team after Zenkaiger, is going to be introduced in Zenkaiger near the end of it as a supporting character. So by the time we get him as leader, we've already been with him a little bit and know a little bit who he is, which is very different for Sentai. From Sentai usually, as far as I know, has been pretty much its own thing throughout each season. Not a whole lot of carryover. Very different from Power Rangers, where Mighty Morphin through In Space / Kinda Lost Galaxy was like a revolving door cast, where the cast continued and got new powers and everything. Usually Sentai, it's a different cast all the way through. Now, there was a connection, I knew it from my good buddy, Mr. Cooper Vaughn, on Twitter, that I guess Denji Man, I think Mask Man, I want to say. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But there's two Sentai that I guess share a villain or something like that between them. So it's kind of a sequel series, but not in the exact same sense that like what they're claiming is happening with Zenkaiger into the next Sentai. I think this is cool. If it's not true, that's fine. But I think it'd be kind of a cool idea to explore, to see some returning characters from a previous Sentai be a part of the next one. It also talked about that the Red Ranger for the next one is going to be Momotaro themed, who's like a samurai legend thing. I think of Momotaro's from Den-O, but he was also designed after that. Anyway, and that some kind of samurai theming to them. Something about the Sentai gears being like reformatted into something very similar as a gimmick item because they were so popular sales-wise, because they've been going crazy. People have been buying them up like crazy. Clearly there's an entire die-cast set of all of them. So, and that it's possible that the red, his mecha will be like a bike that will combine with Jiran somehow to make his own Zord. I don't know for sure on that. Again, I think it's cool. I think it'd be interesting if it's true. It may not be. It may be complete and utter bullshit that's not even at all true. Usually at this point, I accept it as being garbage. But what's odd is that a lot of the stuff about Zenkaiger, and honestly about Revice so far, that we've thought was silly, or they're not going to do that, or that's goofy, or, no, there's no way that's true, has been coming true. So I feel like some of these rumors are starting to actually get closer to what's actually happening in these shows. So, again, take it with a grain of salt. Maybe not a giant one, but like a little tiny little one. You go, it's a little salty. But yeah. Yeah, and let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you think a continuation would be cool. If you don't want to. I've been loving Zenkaiger. One of my good friends on Twitter made a thing about hashtag 10 seasons of Zenkaiger. Which is like an exaggeration because people are loving it so much they're happy to see it continue. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments. I think it'd be pretty cool. Coming up pretty soon, I did get my Neo Deca driver in the mail yesterday, so look for a Decade Henshin pretty soon. Pretty soon with that, Shun, really. Learn how to speak, Zach. So look for a Decade Henshin with that, and then a Toku Toy View with that, just to kind of show off what it can do differently from the normal release, because I have the DX one as well, which I might, the original Deca driver, I might possibly sell that, I don't know for sure. I'm hoping my revised driver comes pretty soon, and also waiting for my Kuga Arkle as well. I know I've been talking about that for like a few months now, but I've not seen anything more about it shipping or whatever, so I've just been kind of waiting to hear about that. yeah, so definitely more Toy content, more Henshin video content. But yeah, like I said, awesome episode of the show this week, and I'm looking forward to next week and Revice, of course. Um, but yeah, so until next time, I guess stay hooked on Henshin. I'll talk to you later. Bye bye.